everyone, and welcome to Memory Matters for All Ages. My name is Janelle Nichols. Today we're going to talk about one of our most popular subjects, something that I'm an expert on, and that is multitasking. Now, I didn't say I was good at it, I just know a lot about it. But we do have someone with us today that truly is an expert, and that is Catherine Kilpatrick. She is a speech-language pathologist with over 40 years of experience in her field. She is a national speaker, an author of over 30 publications, and she works with organizations, businesses, and even the government about multitasking. Catherine, welcome back to the program.
I'm laughing at you, and you think I'm good?
I know, we know each other's secrets, but...
Yeah, too many.
Too many, that's exactly right.
Not on air.
But you know, this subject of multitasking has been one of the most popular subjects of the program, and it's been very enlightening to me listening to you as I learn that we're not multitasking, we are task switching. And that's not necessarily a good thing, is it?
That is correct.
Yes.
Absolutely sure. And the other thing that we've talked about is the etiquette that goes along with that, because the world has totally changed. And so, you know, I think the thing that we want to make sure everybody out there is that it doesn't take over our lives.
It is amazing. And I think that when you're talking about etiquette, we have become a fast food society. Everything we're doing fast, our minds are elsewhere, we're not paying attention.
Right.
And I think you know when you're talking and someone is not paying attention to anything you're saying.
Very
but
much
yet,
so, yeah.
I catch myself doing the same thing. My mind is elsewhere. I'm even looking at my husband, listening about his day, but I'm not, what do I say, zeroed into actually what he's saying. I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, you're not present, which
I'm
is,
not
you
present.
know, is pretty typical.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
Good.
So do you have some things for us to think about as far as tackling this and maybe becoming more aware of what we're doing?
Right, absolutely. This is our last in the series of multitasking programs, so I'm going to try and wrap things up a little bit. And I strongly suggest, if you're interested in this topic, there's a website at the end, and you can link back up to all of the programs, because we've talked about it from beginning to end. But I want to give you a few things to just think about as we look at this whole process. Assess your ability to do one thing at a time. Can you sit and eat a meal without doing something else? Can you just read a book? Are you comfortable with sitting in total quiet? And it's very interesting because we see people that just seem to have to go from one thing to another. You know, in the elevator the other day, everybody, you know, instead of having a conversation, went and started, you know, going to their iPhones. And, you know, there wasn't any just downtime, even to go up 2 or 3 floors and just to relax. I met a woman recently who said she feels guilty doing absolutely nothing. Right now, I'd pray for the ability to do a little bit of nothing, because there's just so much going on. And then what I think has happened is that this has become our new normal. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
The speed and the doing and the going, and everybody, especially when you're hanging out with your group, your peers, or in the workplace, you may have many generations, but you know, many of the same demands are there. And I think that's an important part for us to think of. You know, try and be, you know, just with yourself. Be in the present moment. And I think that's the word you were looking for. Yeah. Your husband's having the conversation with you, and you're thinking about, oh, you know, I just put something in the oven and I need to make sure that I do this before I do that. And is that normal on some level? But I think we've taken it to a whole other phase in terms of what's going on for us. And there was a study, and I'll put this in the blog, which I thought was very interesting. And they talked about, you know, with our smartphones, iPhones, whatever, people are taking pictures all the time, which is really neat. But the study was showing that we are actually losing memories and moments because we're too busy taking a picture after a picture after a picture, because we don't have the film where we have 24 or 36.
Isn't that incredible?
But isn't that an interesting?
It's very interesting.
And I wonder about that.
You know, I just flew recently for business, and it was very telling as you sit at the gate waiting to get on your plane. Everyone is down.
Right.
And I mean everybody has that iPhone, and they're down, and heads are down, and working on that phone. And I was thinking, we don't know what's going on around us. There's no conversation. There's no chatting. There's no interaction. Our whole society is changing. Right. And the research, it's not a positive change in much of the research.
Right. I mean, technology is great, and we love it.
Right.
But I think part of the thing, and you know, when you were saying that, I was thinking, you know, we need to be vigilant. I think about when I traveled right after 9/11 and paying attention.
Right.
So you may have your bag sitting beside you, you're doing this, and not realize that something has transpired.
Absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
so.
Because again, you're not aware of your surroundings.
That's right.
Not aware.
And that's why people are falling off stairs and into fountains and all of that when they're. I pray I never do that, or hit, you know, rear end somebody. So you know, it has taken over. So.
Yeah. Well, I did see someone not long ago at the mall working on their phone. It was a young man, and you know how the stores are different; they come out differently. He walked right into the window of the store, working on his phone, just full force right into the window.
Yeah, it is kind of an interesting thing. So, you know, and we talk about, you know, some of the benefits of, you know, taking care to enjoy the present moment, and just to be present is so important. And, you know, our body needs to relax, because you think about, and we talked about this in an earlier program, about the posture that we're getting into because our head is down.
But I think also we're losing some of the things that would be detrimental to us to lose, and that is conversational skills, good conversations, eye contact, enjoying some of the simple things, good listening. We're not good listeners to begin with. Well, now we're really losing our listening skills because our mind is elsewhere, or we're checking the scores on the phone. So I think that there are things that with technology, which we love, there are things that we need to consciously be aware of that we don't want to lose. And it starts with us. I mean, we can't change society, but it starts with individual. It starts with me, the way I listen to my husband, way I listen to a coworker, eye contact. So give us some tips that might make us more aware of these things to improve ourselves.
I want to share an experience, two experiences I had in the last couple of weeks in training programs. And I did an inventory of the, one was a webinar, and so there were people from all over the country. And it was only an hour and a half. And there's a lot. I do a 3-hour program, which I think really covers everything that needs to be covered. But I asked in the beginning how many people felt that they were multitasking, whether it was, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, on a scale of 1 to 5, what was their multitasking habit like? And most of them were at the 3, 4, and some at the 5 level. And then asking whether it was more serious in work, home, or both. And the majority of them said it was a workplace type of thing. And at the end of the program, I asked how many strategies did they think that they would start to implement. And the conversation was, you know, many, you know, that they, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And then when I did it recently for the 3-hour program, a couple of people came up to me at the break and said, you know, I really have some food for thought. So if this topic intrigues you, go back and pay some attention and take some time with the previous shows we've done, because you will be enlightened, and then you get to make a choice.
Right.
You know, so
exactly.
If we had more time, I would be reading you some chicken soup for the soul stories that I love. When I do programs, I often wind those in. There was one when I'm working with caregivers that I will often do, because, you know, did you ever have a front porch? Did you ever, you know, enjoy just spending there and sitting? And, you know, that brings back to many of us a sense of being present and some calmness and not doing so many things at one time. And my grandparents lived in a 3-decker, and my grandmother and grandfather had the middle up on the second floor, and I loved going and sitting on their swing, and it was enclosed, but glass out to the small little street, and I would just sit there for hours. And I think that's some of what we've lost.
We have,
Another
absolutely.
story I read, and this woman was caring for someone with Alzheimer's disease, and the woman said, look, 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 and this is a person that didn't have a lot of speech, and the woman was doing her to-do list. This was before the phones, and she looked up and looked back down, and then she looked back up again, because this woman was trying to get her attention, her patient, to the beautiful sunset. And she thought, boy, that's a precious moment, and she learned a great lesson from that. So where is your go-to place when you just want to check out for a little bit and just have some quiet time? I think that's important. And then when you start to become anxious with the rushing around, start to breathe. Just relax, take some deep breaths and turn everything off and just look at something. Can you take just a few moments, pause and linger? Those are some words in a blog series I did before. Linger, I love that. Sometimes we're just rush, 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 rush. And then there's a book by Ganilla Norris, and I'll put that on the blog as well. It's called Being Home, and I've worked with stroke patients for a very long time. And I always think of, when we think of dementia, things change gradually. But with someone with a stroke, they could be totally fine one day, and then the next day they're unable to dial the phone or walk, or some of those mundane things that we take for granted. So notice when you're washing the dishes. Just be in that moment and in the appreciation that you're capable of doing those things. We do them so automatically, and yet we kind of forget.
Absolutely. One of the great philosophers of our day, the country singer George Strait, he had a big hit record, and in that it was what is truly important, the lyrics in the song, what's truly important in life. He said it's the moments that take your breath away.
Yes.
Like a sunset.
Absolutely.
Or a new baby,
Right.
holding a baby,
Right.
or just those moments. And I think that we have to embrace where our society is, technology and all of that, but we still have to hold on to that front porch mentality.
Or the beach, but right now
You said
the
it,
beach sounds good right
where
about now.
Where the sunsets are. That would be great. That would be
Absolutely.
great. This will conclude our 8-part series on multitasking. At the end of the program, watch for Kathy's website. That will connect you to her blogs. We only have 15 minutes here, but there is a wealth of information on your websites. More detailed information, I encourage you to go. Also, Kathy's got some products there. I'll give you a little plug there.
Okay.
But there's just a wealth of information on that website. The blogs, detailed writings in connection with what we talked about today. So I would encourage you to watch at the end of the program, get that information, and go on there and get a little more information. Kathy, as usual, you will close us with a quote, and I love those. What do you have for us today?
Before I do the quote, I want to share with you just something to think about, the bigger picture with multitasking. And you want to think about your safety and the safety of others, the quality of your interactions, the quality and the accuracy of your work, the quality of your life, your stress level, and your overall health, because I think we make choices every day with that. And so those are the things you want to kind of think about, because they may be impacted. And here's a quote by Rose Kennedy, and life isn't a matter of milestones, but of moments. And I think we need to pay attention to some of these quotes, and balance matters, folks. Don't let multitasking run your life, but enjoy the benefits of technology.
Very good. Kathy, thank you so much. We'll see all of you next week. Now go and make it a great day.